Welcome back. I hope you're having a fantastic day and surviving these crazy markets. We've got a little bit of a rebound day today on Friday. Turnaround Tuesday is turnaround Friday this week. Markets are up. Dow Jones 1.4%, S&P up 2.37, NASDAQ up almost 4% at 3.92. So good day for traditional markets. Nice little bounce. Obviously still going to finish with one of the biggest down weeks in a long time for the markets. So we'll just have to keep our eyes on what's going on there. Elon Musk is negotiating with Twitter, a little bit of back and forth going on right there. And of course, the markets haven't closed yet. So we got to watch that momentum into the close. And, still a lot of uncertainty out there in the economy with the Fed just getting started on their tightening program. With inflation running wild, the Fed is going to have to get more aggressive. So markets are taking a little breather before the next leg down. And yes, there's going to be another leg down. So just get ready for that. Enjoy these little bounces while you got them. But this is not a reversal. This is a bear market rally, just a little relief bounce, and more tightening is coming, which means more downside is coming. And we're going to go over that right now. Let's jump into Bitcoin. The big question of the day is, has Bitcoin bottomed? Have crypto bottomed? Is this the bottom for Bitcoin and crypto? This is Bitcoin on the hourly, kind of looking like it wants to turn around and confusing everybody. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the Dow real quick. And what we've been tracking is that pre-pandemic level on the Dow of about 29, 30,000. So basically that would be another 8% from here, which is pretty reasonable considering what the Fed would likely be targeting before they want to get involved in anything. Would be an overall decline of about not even 20% really. So that's still not even bear market territory. So the Dow could get probably well below that before the Fed would intervene. Typically about 30% to 50% is where the Fed jumps in. And that's back down to those March pandemic lows on the Dow. The NASDAQ is probably getting a little bit closer. Let's look at 30% down. So yeah, 30, 40% pre-pandemic level right here before the March sell-off on the NASDAQ. And the S&P, that would be a drop for the S&P at 30%. We'll put it back down in that area. So the targets are these pre-pandemic highs back in that level, somewhere from that 2018 high to pre-pandemic high, somewhere in that range is probably where the Fed has tolerance before they're going to do any kind of a reversal, unless something else breaks, like the bond market, credit markets, something like that. Interest rates are continuing to rise, so housing is starting to soften all over the country. You can look at reports out there about home builder sentiment and what the home builders are experiencing. They are seeing contracts cancel. They're seeing very limited traffic on in their subdivisions. So that's where it starts. It always starts with the home builders first. You can also look at Zillow and watch properties in your area. You will see multiple price reductions. You'll see days on market going up, and you'll see houses come back on the market that were under contract before, because basically the buying power of the buyer has been basically cut in half from an affordability standpoint. So a lot of adjustments going on. Let's jump back into the charts and take a look at Bitcoin, and we'll go through a couple of things on Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin on the daily. So when you look at the hourly, there was obviously a nice little bounce. A lot of the cryptos, Bitcoin bounced overall 21% from this low at 25.4. Some of the other altcoins have bounced 30, 40, 50% off of their lows. And the lower the prices get, the bigger the bounces can be. I've been watching Proppy, of course, Luna. I made a little trade on Luna. That so far has not worked out too well, but it was a very small trade. I definitely do not encourage anybody to do that. Who knows what's going to happen with that. And then I've been kind of watching ApeCoin. ApeCoin's been kind of having some action, but here's a big bounce right here on Mana. This is an example. It dropped all the way down to about 59 cents. So it didn't take much to get a 96% bounce out of that. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on when these altcoins that were doing really well in the $4, $5 to $10 range drop down into the dollar and change ranges, 50, 60 cents or dollar range. You can get some nice little bounces out of them, but they can also go the other way. So it's all about risk or reward in terms of what you're willing to tolerate and do. But let's take a look at Bitcoin, because as goes Bitcoin, as goes the rest of the market, right? So if Bitcoin goes down, altcoins can drop as you've seen, they can still drop another 50, 60, 70% from where they are right now. So you have to be prepared for that, and Bitcoin can too. So let's take a look at the daily, and let's look at log scale here on the daily. And two things to watch out for. One that we've been talking about are the moving average. So this is Bitcoin on the daily, still below all moving averages. So a reversal, I would not become confident in a reversal till you get back above that 200-day moving average. That's critical for stocks. It's critical for Bitcoin and crypto. You want to be above that 200-day moving average to look for any kind of reversal or, definitely bull market activity. You're above all of the moving averages. But let's look at the something else here that's been interesting to watch is the Gaussian channel on the daily. We haven't looked at this a whole lot. We'll look at it on the weekly, but you can see that it's turned red on the daily after this little green patch. And then that's when you had a big drop, or Bitcoin had a big drop. So if you look at the last couple of times that happened, these drops were somewhere around total about 42% there last summer. And then most recently after Christmas, 40%. So let's take a look right now where we're at, 35%. So where would 40 put you? 40 would put Bitcoin around 23.5 to 24,000. So keep that number in your mind, 23 to 24,000. The March pandemic, you really can't look at that, but let's just look at it. That was a little bit more. That was a 53% drop. Then this little rally, 2017, 2018 drop was about 32%, after that little rally after the bottom. And then this big drop here, the final capitulation of 2018, 49%. And then the first capitulation of 2018 from the time it broke the Gaussian on the daily, dropped 42%. So if you say 42% from where we're at now, again, that's going to put you down around from the time it broke the channel, around $23,000. So somewhere in that $22,500 to $23,000 range. And the reason I say let's keep an eye on that is because when you switch to the weekly, and if you look at the Gaussian channel, it hasn't turned red yet. It's still in the green, but anytime it's broken below, it has broken down on the weekly 39%. The last time in 2018 and then 2014, same thing, it was 55%. So let's take a look at where this last one was 40%. So again, let's take a look at 40% on the weekly. 40% on the weekly puts you at about 20,000. So in that 20 to 23,000 range. So let's take a look at one more thing, the moving averages. So we've been talking about this. We're heading for this cross here where the 50-week crosses the 100-week. And anytime Bitcoin has broken that 100-week moving average, it goes down and touches and sometimes breaks below the 200-week moving average. Right now, the 200-week moving average is coming in, depending on where it hits, around 20 to 23,000, depending on when price gets to that level. So it seems like it's definitely heading in that direction. And again, it's just done it every single time. So last time was back here in March of 2020. It broke below it. That was a severe situation. Prior to that, it was 2018. It bounced on the 200-week moving average a couple of times. And you can see it dropped down, had a little relief rally, dropped down, hit it, bounced, hit it again, and took off. So how do you know when you've bottomed? You can look for this on the 200-week moving average. So right now, breaking down, got a little bit of a, buying it up a little bit, kind of looking at back in 2018, same kind of action. So you could see price trickle down in there, bounce along the 200 a couple of times, and then take off from there. So it looks like price wants to go down to that 200-week moving average, like it's done pretty much every time in its history. When it's broken the 100-week, it's always gone down to that 200, bounced along the 200 before reversing. First sign is you get above that 50, then you get back above that 100-week. Same thing here, above the 50, above the 100, and then it broke down March 2020. The bull market was back on right in this area before that pandemic happened. It would have probably taken off right in this area here. So once the price touches the 200-week, gets back above the 50-week, and then ultimately the 100, because these averages will move and cross a little bit once it gets down there, then that's when you can start looking for a full-on market reversal. And that's just the way things have worked out in the past. If you look at Bitcoin on the daily, you can kind of look at these bottoms that Bitcoin has had in the past and how things kind of work. And let's look at them on that moving average situation again and again. Price, as long as it's below all the moving averages, you can't look for any signs of reversal. You got to see price get up back above these moving averages again in order for bull market to be on. So these are the things that I'm looking at in terms of a price reversal. We have the weekend coming up, so no telling what's going to happen there. So right now, what I'm expecting, unless the price breaks back above 40,000. So that's something that could negate all this. If price breaks back up above 40,000, which would put you, if you look at the daily, let's just take a look at the daily. So that 40,000 range is back up here. Okay, so that's back where price was back early part of April, late part of May. If you break above 40,000, then you can kind of look at a reversal at that point. But until then, it's just kind of noise. Bear market rallies. And if you look back last summer, you can see some of these rallies are pretty good. I mean, you can get some 30%, 25% rallies as the price is bouncing along, trying to figure itself out. So just be careful. I'm not saying this is not, an attempt at a reversal or, could be a reversal, but just based on history, based on what the charts are showing and saying, and based on, all past examples that we have, which is all we can work off of, is probabilities, possibilities, and what has price done in the past, because it just plays out over and over and over. And as we've seen with theories of lengthening cycles and all of those types of things, it just keeps repeating itself. So you have to keep an eye out for that, especially with all the things that are going on lately with Luna and all that. We'll just have to keep an eye on that, see how that resolves. So those are the things that I am looking at right now to try and identify any type of a reversal. So I will keep you updated, and I hope you have a great weekend.